tribal trails. The Son of God, He's near. He chose to walk with us these tribal trails.
Are you someone who likes the outdoors? Well, I do, and so does today's guest. He is a young man who likes hunting, trapping, and fishing. To get to know him, we will be visiting Grand Rapids, Manitoba. Most people know the place because of the power dam there. But there has been a whole community living in that area long before the dam was built. We will now join Joey and others in the Robert Buck family as they talk with Rita Anderson.
How long have you lived in Grand Rapids, Joey?
Since I was 5.
You went to school here?
Yeah, I started out in homeschool because we lived in Moose Jaw before, and I was in a French immersion school, so I didn't speak English when I first came here.
Oh. Going to your house, I notice your little boards there for trapping. Tell me about your trapping.
When I first started trapping, it was just, for me, it was just a way to get out for a while by myself, and then I guess I came to like it, trapping, just walking by myself, so I time to think, and I kind of just stuck with it.
Did you learn it from your grandfather?
My grandpa, yeah, he taught me a lot when I was younger, but I guess after he died, I didn't really do any of that. And then it was when I first moved back here that I started again, because I was, I guess, frustrated with the way things went, so I wanted that time, and that was my excuse to go, and I guess it just grew on me from there.
So you were away from Grand Rapids for a while?
Yeah, a few times. I was in Winnipeg for a while, Saskatchewan, a few different places.
Oh.
I guess for the most part, just trying to find where I could be, or trying to find my way, I guess.
Yeah. I think it's wonderful to be out in nature and the quietness. It's very good. What about fishing?
Fishing, I guess it's the same sort of, I've always liked fishing. It's one of the few things I found that I enjoy doing, really.
When we were in your place, you cooked for us. How did that start in your life?
I started out baking mostly, I guess, to help my mom, because she always does a lot of the baking for funerals, and with work, I guess it was hard for her, so I just kind of tried to help, and yeah, I enjoy cooking, so.
Thank you, Joey. We talked to Joey's father and mother, Robert and Marla Buck, while we were in Grand Rapids. Later on in the program, Robert, who is also known as Buck, is going to share a few thoughts about his son, Joey. But first, Marla will tell us about her great desire to share the gospel and help others.
I pray that God will bring people that need to hear about Him, and that if there's anyone that has needs and they need prayer or they need help in understanding things, that God would show me and point me out who these people are, so that I would be able to share. So my whole day has to be based around a prayer that God will bring me into contact with these people. And it's amazing how many people will just, that you don't expect, come out of the blue and, okay, I have this problem, and I read this in the Bible that you gave me, but what does it mean? And then you get such a chance to share what God's message is for that person in their life, and as long as you do it in an atmosphere of prayer and caring and loving towards that person. So I have a lot of chances to do that. And I work also with the committees that help out with the wakes and funerals, so I help out with the cooking and baking and support that way.
Do you have a favorite Bible verse?
Okay, the favorite verses that I like to read is Psalms 95. Come, let us sing for joy to the Lord. Let us shout aloud to the rock of our salvation. Let us come before Him with thanksgiving and extol Him with music and song. For the Lord is the great God, the great King above all gods. In his hand are the depths of the earth, and the mountain peaks belong to him. The sea is his, for he made it, and his hands formed the dry land. And this is the part that I like the best. Come, let us bow down and worship. Let us kneel before the Lord our Maker. For he is our God, and we are the people of his pasture, the flock under his care. So every time I go through hard times or discouraging times when he gets sick, or I'm having a hard time at work, or whatever it might be, if I can remember these verses, I know that he is the one. He is the one that is our God. We're his people. That means like we belong to him. He takes care of us. We're under his care. We shouldn't have to worry. We shouldn't have to fear or be disturbed or any of these other things. We need to just put our faith in him. And when we do that, then we can sing for joy. Bless the Lord, oh my soul, oh my soul, worship his holy name, sing like never before, oh my soul, I'll worship your holy name. The sun comes up, it's a new day dawning. It's time to sing your song again. Whatever may pass and whatever lies before me, let me be singing when the evening comes. Bless the Lord, oh my soul, oh my soul, worship his holy name. Sing like never before, oh my soul, I'll worship your holy name. You're rich in love and you're slow to anger. Your name is great and your heart is kind. For all your goodness I will keep on singing. 10,000 reasons for my heart to find. Bless the Lord, oh my soul, oh my soul, worship his holy name. Sing like never before, oh my soul, I'll worship your holy name. And on that day when my strength is failing, the end draws near and my time has come, still my soul will sing your praise unending. 10,000 years and then forevermore. Bless the Lord, oh my soul, oh my soul, worship his holy name. Sing like never before, oh my soul, I'll worship your holy name. Sing like never before, oh my soul, I'll worship your holy name.
How many children do you have?
I have 3. 2 boys and a girl. And they're all grown up. And so pretty soon, I guess, my one son is a trapper and a fisherman. And the other one was studying carpentry till he got hurt. And so now he's working at the grocery store. I guess he has to get an operation on him. And my daughter is a nurse in southern Manitoba here.
Yeah.
You know, God has blessed us, and He's rewarded our faithfulness.
Yeah.
You know, we had rough times with some of our children at some times, and yet, you know, God brought them through. Yeah. And you know, that's part of His reward, His faithfulness to us. Our children are doing okay.
Your love, O Lord, reaches to the heavens, your faithfulness to the skies. Your righteousness is like the mighty mountains, your justice like the great deep. O Lord, you preserve both man and beast. How priceless is your unfailing love.
So could we say that you grew up with the gospel?
Yeah, I guess so. I've heard it since I was young. My dad went around to churches, so I was always around it.
And I did what God asked me to do. Preach His gospel. You know, Jesus Christ, born, died, and resurrection. And that's what we've been doing, and that's all we do. And you know, people know that, and the church is growing. And so we're learning to trust in God with everything, with our families, our children, and keeping up with everything. You know, make sure there's obedience to God. You know.
So did you accept the Lord, Joey?
Yeah, I did not until I was 21, I guess, 22.
And were you baptized?
I was baptized 5 years ago, I guess.
Here in Grand Rapids?
Yeah, here in Grand Rapids.
Yeah. What does your dad mean to you?
He means a lot to me, I guess. When I first finished school and I started leaving home a lot, and I was trying to find a place to go or something for me to do. And I guess I kind of got myself into trouble a lot in different places. I pretty much screwed up everywhere I went, and he was always ready to take me back and let me come home. Then the last time, I guess I was living in Winnipeg, and he kind of got sick, so I don't know, just thinking of the times he let me come back after I messed up sometimes pretty badly. I guess I figured it would be kind of right for me to come back to help him when he needed me. So
I see you helping your dad a lot. What are some of the things that you do for him?
Well, he's not very mobile anymore, so I kind of have to help him get around. He's pretty sick, so he used to be at the nursing station every day.
Tell me a little bit about your mom.
My mom pretty much taught me how to help people out. She's always there for everyone. She's always busy, usually helping people. She works in a post office, so she talks to a lot of the people there.
Is your home always open?
Yeah, it's always open. There's always people in and out too. So.
If you could describe your life and what it is, what is the best thing you like about it?
I guess the best thing about my life is the people I've met and the people I know. And
is walking with the Lord a little difficult in sort of like a northern community?
Yeah, it's difficult. I suppose it would be pretty much anywhere.
Yeah. Well, Joey, we have been in your home, and I know you have church services in your home. You play the guitar. Play with your mom for their church services. Who taught you how to play the guitar?
My dad taught me how to play. He was always singing at different church services.
You know, I'd like to introduce my son, Joey, who's been helping us here in the church in our ministry in the area of music. He plays a guitar, fiddle, mandolin, and basically anything with strings. And I'm thankful to have him here. And to play guitar, you know, I've lost the feelings in my hands and everywhere. And I have a hard time singing, but he helps me a lot because he's learned a lot of the music that I used to listen to. So this is a song that we're going to sing here. I feel the touch of hands so warm and tender. They're leading me down paths that I must trod. I'll have no fear, for Jesus walks beside me, and I'm sheltered in the arms of God. So let the storms reach high, let dark clouds rise, they don't worry me, for I'm sheltered in the arms of God. He walks with me, and naught of earth shall harm me, for I'm sheltered in the arms of God. Soon I shall hear a call from heaven's portal. Come home, my child, it's the last mile you must trod. I'll fall asleep and wake in God's new heaven. I'll be sheltered in the arms of God. So let the storms reach high, let dark clouds rise, they don't worry me, for I'm sheltered in the arms of God. He walks with me, and naught of earth shall harm me, for I'm sheltered in the arms of God.
I guess my whole life that was a main part of his ministry, and I grew up around it, I guess. I always liked the guitar. We used to play with it when we were kids. So.
What is it about your dad, do you think, that keeps him going when he is so sick?
Well, he's always been stubborn, and I guess since he met the Lord, I guess that's the biggest thing for him to stick with, I guess. So he's pretty stubborn when it comes to preaching the gospel too. So for him to know that it's needed here, I guess that's probably the biggest reason why he's still around.
You know, well, I guess it's 12 years ago. I was told I only had a year to live, so so you know, it's God who calls us home when it's time. And I don't think God has finished me yet. I think there's still things that I have to do yet, and that's why I'm still here. You know, the times that I've come close, I haven't worried. I felt total peace, you know, knowing that God was in control, and you know that someday I'd close my eyes and wake up in God's new heaven. So it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. I've learned a lot through it. You know, and at the same time, God taught me that, you know, like I'm wondering, my first thought, of course, is why are all these things happening to me? I'm trying to do everything right. Why does bad always happen to good people? But God showed me that these things, these trials that we go through, are to bring glory to Him. Sometimes we don't understand how that happens. How can God have glory in taking me? God has purpose in all these things that He does. And like it says, our outer man is decaying each day, but our inner man is renewed each day. And there waits for us a far bigger treasure than what our suffering on earth is. And so, there's some things that that I've had to live through and adjust through. I'm in a wheelchair. I'm lying here because I can't sit up anymore. God is sovereign in all that He does, and you just got to trust that no matter how bad things seem or may get.
Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make your paths straight.
Joey, you mentioned you accepted the Lord, and why did you accept the Lord?
Well, I guess growing up, I always could see that it was real and there was something there, but I guess just being who I am, I couldn't make sense of it. I couldn't rationalize it to why I would go the same way as everyone else in my life. And
Yeah.
like I mentioned earlier, that I left home a lot, a few times, and my dad always took me back. I guess it was the last time I left before I accepted the Lord, that I was in Saskatchewan, and I guess I kind of just lost hope for finding where I needed to be in life and what I was going to do. And I kind of started walking, and I really didn't have anywhere to go, or I just left where I was staying, and it kept coming back to me that how my dad had kept bringing me back home. And I guess it kind of just clicked with me then that that's the same way it is with God, that He'll take me home when I need to, I guess. Yeah, I went back home after that, and I kind of devoted my life to learning what it was that made my dad follow God, I guess.
Did you find that was a good path?
I found that it was a hard path, but
Yeah.
at the same time, it was the best path.
Best decision you made?
Yeah. Most rewarding, I guess. Especially, I guess, now that he's sick, and you don't see much reward for your effort until you think of God and how He's going to reward us in the end.
I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. Now there is in store for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to me on that day, and not only to me, but also to all who have longed for His appearing.
Okay, you mentioned, Joey, that you were baptized. How long ago was that?
5 years ago.
Yeah, 5 years ago. Why did you feel the need to get baptized?
We were doing a Bible study in our church, and my dad was talking about baptism as the step in obedience to God, and I figured if I wanted to follow God, that should be something I needed to do.
Who baptized you?
It was a guy by the name of Gary Smith. I guess he had worked with my dad a lot with church planting.
Yeah. Your mom and dad both are walking with the Lord, and you grew up in a Christian home. And you mentioned you accepted the Lord, but being raised in a Christian home, does that guarantee you a place in heaven?
No, it doesn't. I guess the important thing to remember is that knowing doesn't really save you. It's more about your relationship with God, and if you don't have that, you don't have anything, really.
What would you say to young people that were raised in a Christian home and went to pretty well like what you went to, you know, had difficulty finding your way in the world? What could we tell them that would help them?
Romans 2:11, for there is no partiality with God. It's an important concept to me because growing up I knew all the right answers. When it came to the Bible, I knew, and for the most part I lived a pretty good life, I guess, according to the law. But like it says in Romans, there's no one without sin, and God's not partial to anyone. Knowing God is more important than how you live and what you know and what you do, because without God, I guess you can't be saved, because He's not partial to any wrong, and everyone has wrong. So
Joey just mentioned that there is no partiality with God. What does that mean? It means that there is no difference who you are. We will all be judged by God. It makes no difference if you come from a Christian home or if the mention of God is only a swear word. God sees us individually. Joey said, the important thing to remember is that knowing all about God doesn't really save you. It's a personal relationship with God. If you don't have that, you don't have anything. Joey lived most of his life as a pretty good person. But that alone is not good enough, because in Romans we are told we have all sinned, and we all must come to the cross of Christ in repentance to find mercy. Jesus said, knock, and the door will be opened to you. If you would like prayer or someone to talk to, please call us here at Travel Trails. We are going to end the program with Ken Cook singing our challenge to you. Don't go home tonight unsaved.
Upon my heart I have a burden for so